Hello everyone! So in this video we will be picking up where we left off in The Rise of Nine by Pittacus Lore. I hope everybody's excited for the holidays and has a wonderful, wonderful time. Alright, so we'll pick up right away. Chapter 25. Our beige Ford Contour barrels down the highway with Nine behind the wheel. I stare at the long rows of corn in the fields, and I try to picture what they'd look like from space. I can't stop thinking about our ship sitting somewhere in New Mexico. After all these years, after all the running and hiding and training, everything is nearly in place. Members of the Guard have developed their legacies and are coming together. Citrecus Ra came to Earth to fight, and when it's all over, we have a ship to fly us back to Lorien. I'm bored, Nine says. Tell me a story. Tell me about Sara. How hot is she, anyway? Forget it. She's out of your league, I say. 4. If you could get anywhere near her, I'm pretty sure I'd have a shot, especially in this car. This car. Nine let me wallow pitifully when I first saw it sitting there. I mean, given everything else that I'd seen about how Sander and Nine had lived, it was understandable that I pictured our ride as something with a whole lot more bling to it. Turns out, looks can be deceiving. The Ford was just hiding its assets. From the outside, the car does look like something most likely found on cinder blocks. But inside, it has to be the most technologically advanced thing I've ever seen. I feel like James Bond. There's a radar detector, a laser jammer, and bulletproof tinted windows. When Nine wants a break from driving, the car does the driving for him. With the push of a button, a gun turret with a large barrel pops out of the hood. This, of course, is controlled with the steering wheel. Nine demonstrated all of it on a lonely stretch of highway in southern Illinois, squeezing off a few rounds at an abandoned barn. My first-hand experience of cars was limited to the beat-up pickups and other throwaways Henry found for us, the kinds of cars we would have no problem ditching at the last minute. He never would have gone for something like this. There would be too much evidence if it got left behind. It just goes to show again how different each Seapan was. Nine takes his hand off the wheel and puts them together like he's praying. Please, I'm begging you, just tell me again what she looks like. After this many hours of corn, I would do anything for something pretty to think about. I look back at the fields, lips pressed together. No way. Dude, you'd think she hadn't, turned your ass into the police. Come on, why are you so protective? I don't even know if she did turn me in. I don't know who to believe anymore. But if she did, I have to think she had her reasons. Maybe she was lied to or pressured into it. So many questions about Sara have been running through my mind. If only I could see her, talk to her. Yeah, forget that stuff for a minute. Just tell me what she looks like. I really want to know, and I promise not to say a word. I can tell he's not going to give this up. I swear on the Lore Code if there is such a thing. Of course there's such a thing. You and Sander were just too busy living this cushy life, playing with your toys, to bother with anything as basic as Lore Code, I retort. We ride in silence for a few minutes. Okay, I'll tell you this about Sara. You know when you're talking to a beautiful girl and she's focused only on you and everything is going great? Yeah. And you think you're with the hottest girl in the state, maybe in the country, maybe even on Earth? Just by walking in her room, she lights it up. Everyone wants to be her best friend, wants to marry her, or both. Can you picture her? Nine's smile widens. Yeah, okay, I can picture her. Well, that's Sara. She's the hot girl who lights up the room. She treats you like you're the most important person she's ever met. When she smiles at you, oh man, it's the best, and nothing else matters. On top of all that, she's the sweetest, smartest, most creative person I've ever met, and she loves animals. And once, dude, I don't care if she's nice to puppies. Just give me her deets, her look, her style. I've never known anyone so relentless, I sigh. Blonde hair, blue eyes, tall and thin. You should see her in this one red sweater she has. It's not even fair how gorgeous she looks in it. Nine howls at the ceiling, waking Bernie Kosar up in the back seat. I point at him. Hey, you're not supposed to say anything, remember? On the Lore Code. Okay, Nine says. Thank you for that tidbit. She sounds like a total babe. Now, tell me about 6. He rubs his hands together, grinning in anticipation. No way. Aw, come on, Johnny. I laugh. It's impossible not to want to talk about her. Okay, 6. Let's see. Well, first of all, she's the strongest person I've ever met. He snorts. Give me a break. I'm sure I could kick her ass. I don't know, man. Wait until you meet her. He fixes his hair in the mirror. Huh, I can't wait. And she's got long black hair, and she always looks like she's pissed off. Have you ever noticed there's something kind of exciting when a girl is mad at you? Nine muses, tapping his chin as if he were really giving it deep thought. I suddenly feel guilty. I shouldn't be talking like this, with Nine of all people, and I definitely shouldn't be comparing Six and Sara this way, as if it's a competition, especially since they hate each other. Sara hates Six because of everything I said about Six the night she turned me in, and Six hates Sara because I risked our lives going to see her when Six needed my help, and because she thinks Sara betrayed us. I don't feel right talking about Six. I think I'll just let you meet her, come to your own conclusions. Nine shakes his head. You're such a wuss, dude. For a while we ride along in silence. Road signs announce where we are. I check the tablet again. Thanks to Nine and Sanders' love of electronics, I was able to plug it into the car's computer. Now I see the blips representing me and Nine in eastern Oklahoma. There's still one in New Mexico, and a fourth is moving quickly north over the Atlantic Ocean. The missing three showed up in England, but I still don't know how they could have gotten there so quickly from India. I decide to give myself permission to check again in 5 or 10 minutes, to make sure none of them disappear again. I look out the window, examining the signs as they go by. We're more than halfway to New Mexico when I notice the gas gauge is perilously close to empty. I point to it, and Nine pulls to a truck stop. He asks me to open the glove compartment. 2 rolls of $100 bills fall out and onto my lap. Damn! I say, catching them. Let me have one of those, will you? Nine asks. I peel off a bill and hand it to him. He pops the gas tank and climbs out of the car. I put a few of the bills in my pocket and tuck the rest of them back in the glove compartment. Exhausted, I pull the lever to recline the seat, put my head back and close my eyes. Bernie Kosar leans forward and licks my cheek, making me chuckle. I'm bone-weary tired, but I fight the sleep that tries to wash over me. I can't deal with what comes with sleep. I'm sick of taking on Citricus Raw in my dreams. I let my mind wander to Sara and Six. I hope they're both okay. Then I think of Sam. I still can't believe I abandoned my best friend. I tell myself I had no choice. The blue force field had incapacitated me to the point where going back in would have been suicide. No matter how true all of that is, it still feels bad. I'm startled from my thoughts by the loud click of the gas pump finishing its fill. I breathe deeply, eyes still closed, to appreciate every last second of silence before Nine gets back into the car. Except the silence continues. Nine doesn't hop in and start to chatter away. I open my eyes and look back at the pump, but no one is there. Where is he? I look around the gas station. Nothing. I'm immediately worried. I get out, Bernie Kosar hopping out beside me, and lock the doors. First, I head inside the station. He's not there. Next, I go out to the parking lot, which is full of semi-trailers. With my advanced hearing, I pick up Nine's voice, and I can tell he's good and pissed off. Bernie Kosar and I run towards his voice, weave around several trailers, and find him standing between 2 young guys with blood on their t-shirts. In front of Nine are 3 big truckers, all of them shouting in his face. What did you just say to me? The trucker in the middle asks Nine. Under his yellow cap, a bushy red beard covers the man's face. Are you deaf? Nine says, over-enunciating as if speaking to an idiot. I said, you have girl arms. I mean, look at your wrists. Why does he insist on looking for trouble? What's up? I interrupt, walking over. The trucker on the right, a tall guy wearing aviator sunglasses, looks at me. He points his finger in my face and yells, Mind your own business, asshole! As I join the group, the trucker on the left spits a long stream of brown juice at my feet. As far as I've figured out, Nine turns to explain to me, these fat guys are angry at these little guys. The little guys were hitchhiking and caught a ride with one of them, promising money they didn't have. So now the fat guys are trying to beat up the little guys with their puny girl arms. I turn to the truckers, the fat guys, and try to make nice. Okay, well, none of this has anything to do with us, and we need to get on the road. So guys, let me apologize for my friend, who clearly doesn't know when to mind his own business. Yeah? The bearded trucker growls at Nine. Just get the hell out of here, punk, and let us deal with these lowlifes. I take my first real look at the hitchhikers. They smell like they've been on the road for a while. They couldn't be more than 18, probably younger. As the truckers move toward them menacingly. They glance at each other with a real panic in their eyes. Next thing I know, Nine is stepping in front of the little guys and saying, "I don't care who promised what to who. You touch these kids again and I'll break all your goddamn arms." I squeeze in between Nine and the three now truly pissed-off truckers, holding both sides back. Bernie Kosar barks threateningly. Okay, just stop." I turn to Nine, willing him to listen to me. "We can't do this right now. We have somewhere very important we have to go. Now," I say. I dig into my pocket and turn to the truckers. "Listen, how much did these guys say they would give you?" $100, the one wearing the aviator says. "Fine," I say, pulling one of the bills out of my pocket. The trucker's eyes widen at the sight of such a big bill, and I instantly know things just got worse. "Why would you give anything to these guys, Johnny?" Nine asks. I feel the meaty hand of a trucker on my shoulder. He squeezes my shoulders as he says, "Did I say $100? I'm in 1,000, Johnny." "That's crazy!" one of the hitchhikers shouts. "We never said we'd give you any money." I spin back to the truckers, waving the bill like it was a flag. $100, guys, just take it. Consider it a tip for good service or payment in lieu of a beating. I don't really care what you call it, just take it. "I said 1,000, the man on the left says, spitting again, this time directly on top of my shoe. "Are you deaf?" A low growl starts deep in Bernie Kosar's throat. Nine moves forward, but I push him back and turn to face him. "No, it's not worth it, man." I put my face right up to his. He has to understand how serious I am. I will not let him do this. Please, think of what Sander would want you to do. He'd want you to walk away. I need you to walk away, I whispered. "You guys aren't getting shit," Nine yells over my shoulder at the truckers. I shove him backwards towards the car and spin around just in time to see the bearded trucker pull a knife out of his pocket. "All of your money, now." The other two men step up to flank me. "Listen," I say, lowering my voice, trying to get control of the situation. "You will take the $100 and you will walk away. If you don't, I'm not going to hold my friend back anymore. Believe me, you don't want that. You have no idea what he can do and you don't want to know." I'm not entirely surprised when the answer comes in the form of a fist. It comes from my right and I easily dodge it. I grab the trucker's wrist and throw him down. BK looms over him, still growling, and the man shrinks back. "My turn," Nine says gleefully, pushing me out of the way. The bearded trucker swings his knife wildly at Nine, who steps lightly out of range. On his next swing, Nine ducks under the blade and hooks his arm beneath the man's armpit, slamming him to the ground. He kicks the knife out of the trucker's hand and it goes skidding under a truck. "Dude, you should listen to my wise pal over there. You seriously do not want to mess with us." All right. We're done here," I say, placing my hand on Nine's shoulder. "And now we're all going to walk away. Let's go." I hear the hammer of a gun click. We freeze. The trucker with the aviator glasses waves a .50 caliber Desert Eagle at us. I don't know everything about guns, but I know this one packs a very big punch. He sounds pretty serious when he asks, "Which of you wants to die first?" Of course, Nine steps forward, crossing his arms over his chest. Me. He raises the gun towards Nine's face and laughs at what he thinks is just bravado. "Don't tempt me, punk. Killing you would be the highlight of my day." "Well then shoot. No reason to put off the highlight of your day. You don't look like you get 'em a lot," Nine says. I sigh, knowing this is all going to end badly. And after, there will be a tension we don't need. At this point, things begin to move really fast. First, a sudden and very loud blast from a nearby truck startles the gun-toting trucker, who fires off a shot. Nine stops the bullet with his mind just inches from his nose. With a grin and a tilt of his head, he spins the bullet mid-air and sends it racing back at the shooter. He sees the bullet coming his way and turns tail and runs as fast as his legs will take him. I turn to look at Nine. This guy is having way too much fun. I know what he's going to do, and I know it's bad. A bad idea. "No, Nine, don't do it," I say, shaking my head, knowing he's going to do it anyway. Nine laughs and feigns innocent. "Do what? This?" He and I both turn to look at the bullet that is still hovering where Nine stopped it near the trucker. He gives a little chortle and sends the bullet racing after the fleeing trucker right into his ass. He goes down, screaming his head off. Nine turns to the other truckers, including the one BK has decided to let off the ground. They look like they are about to pee in their pants, they're so scared. Nine smiles at them, and I know he's still not done messing with their heads. He says to the two truckers, "You know what? I think you two should make up for your rude friend." Here's what you're going to do. You're going to reach into your pockets very slowly and take out your wallets. Then you're going to give every dollar to these nice guys here, for their trouble," he says, motioning to the hitchhikers. "I don't think you want to hear what I'll do if you don't cooperate. Quickly." Both truckers nod and reach into their pockets. The hitchhikers look totally stunned by all they've just seen. Thanks, man," one of them says. "No problem." 9 says as the money's exchanged. Everyone's hands but ours are visibly shaking. "Just so you know, we never promised that guy any money. They were trying to shake us down. We're absolutely broke," the others say. "I believe you, and you're not broke anymore," 9 says, smiling. "Let's just say, I know what it's like on the road and on the run. It can be hard for a kid to figure out a way to get some cash." He turns to me for confirmation. I smile at the kids, but look back at 9 and make it clear I'm more pissed off than I've ever been. He shrugs. "Hope the next ride you catch goes better." He turns and walks away, and BK and I follow. We get to our car, climb in, and pull away in silence. After a minute or two, 9 reaches over and flicks on the radio. He drums his fingers on the wheel in time to the song. "What the hell were you doing back there?" I yell, punching his shoulder. "And don't give me any crap about the poor little boys and the mean trucker men either. You're just entertaining yourself and showing off. And you know what? That's putting us both in danger. Not to mention keeping us from getting where we need to go. Come on, 9, get it together." 9 is gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles are white, and I can see his jaws clench so hard his muscles are twitching. I was not showing off, and I was not entertaining myself. I wait for him to continue, to explain, but it's clear he's not going to say anything else. What does he have to be mad about? "What, you were just standing up for 2 humans who were getting pushed around, even though you said humans aren't worth the time or energy?" He flinches when I throw his words back at him. "I don't like bullies. No one has a right to take or to hurt, just because they can. I wasn't going to let them do that, and I made damn sure they wouldn't do it again." His voice is flat. He looks over at me, at the surprised look on my face, and turns back to the road. "Don't know why you look so shocked. I'm a humanitarian man." I shake my head. Every time I think I have 9 figured out, he does something to turn it around, and I end up liking him even more. I shrug, lean my head back and turn to watch the landscape whip by the window. I drum along with the music on my armrest. "I didn't know, that's all," I say. He relaxes into his seat and smiles in a satisfied way that is more like the 9 I'm used to. "Yeah? Well, now you do, man. Now you do." Chapter 26. My head is in Sara Hart's lap, the real Sara Hart, and she strokes my hair with her fingers. I stare blankly at the ceiling. I reach up and touch my neck. The cut that runs all the way around it is deep. I want to sit up, but my bruised ribs and knees won't allow it. I'm humiliated by how easily I was overtaken by Hitchhikers, how weak I was in the face of his tremendous strength. I've killed so many Mogadorian soldiers. I've cut off their heads while mowing them down with weapons I controlled with my mind. Since I received my legacies, I have always been ready to fight, no fear, no matter who or what I faced, until now. Hitchhikers tossed me around by my pendant like I was a rag doll. I was helpless against him. He even made my legacies disappear. I had the opportunity to kill Hitchhikers, to save Lorian and end the war, and I was swatted down like an annoying gnat. 6. Can you tell me if John is still alive? Sara asks cautiously. "I know you're in pain, but can you tell me that?" "Yes, he's alive," I whisper. I can feel her sigh with relief against me. After a pause, she asks, "Are you okay?" "I don't really know," I say. I turn my head so I can look up into Sarah's tired eyes. I try to smile. I'm exhausted. My eyelids are already fluttering when I open my mouth to speak. "He was you. He tricked me into thinking he was you, the monster." Sara takes this in without any sign of confusion. She shakes her head and looks away. "I know. He showed me. A couple days ago he came into my cell. I thought he was there to take me back to the room where—" She trails off for a minute, then clears her throat and straightens up. "This room with all these machines and strobe lights. I feel like I'm crazy in there and everything hurts. It's hard to explain. But he wasn't here to take me anywhere. He just stood there not saying anything. Then he started jerking around like he was having a seizure. Then he started to shrink, and bam! It was like I was looking into a mirror. When he finally did speak, it wasn't his voice. It was mine. I tried to hit him and rip out his eyes, but he beat me so badly that, well, The first time I could stand was when I caught you. When you were thrown in here." I'm flattered. I try to laugh, but it gets caught in my throat. "No, seriously, thank you." "Well, you're welcome." She's smiling down on me, and I think she must have been terrified. I was more scared than I've ever been just now, and I was born and raised to do this. This is my life. It isn't Sarah's. Not by a long shot. I don't get something. How did he know so much about you? How could he trick me for so long? "They know everything, Six," she says, her voice deadly serious. I slowly begin to roll out of her lap to push myself off the ground. I try to ignore my ribs begging me to stay down. "What do you mean, everything? About who? And what do you know about any of this?" Sara looks away. "What little I know, I told them all of it," she says after a minute. "I couldn't help it. They kept taking me to that room, strapping me down, and they injected me with drugs. They asked me the same questions over and over. After a while, my mouth moved even though I told it to stop. I just couldn't stop talking." Sara puts her face in her hands and sobs. "I told them everything, repeating whole conversations word for word." I sit against the wall and let the pain wash over my body. "If John sees Hitchhikers raw and believes it's you, I don't know what will happen." Sara suddenly sounds frantic. "We have to get out of here. We have to stop him. Is there any way we can warn John?" I don't know if I'm ready to break out. "What? Why?" she asks, shocked. I stagger to my feet, clutching at my ribs. Now that I've met Hitchhikers raw, I want another chance at him. He let me live, and now I'm going to kill him. This would sound more lethal if I weren't swaying slightly, but I mean it from my very core. Sara stands, and I get a good look at her for the first time. Her face is covered in dirt and bruises, her blonde hair limp on her shoulders, but she's still beautiful. The bottom of her red sweater is torn, and she's not wearing any shoes. She's swaying a bit herself. She stares at me, incredulous. "Look at yourself, Six. You're hurt. You're really hurt. Do you even know what you're saying? It would be nuts for you to fight him alone. John will come. John, just wait for him. Please. He'll come, and he'll rescue us, and Sam. I know he will." "Sam's here? Are you sure? Have you actually seen him?" Sara clenches her jaw. Sara clenches her jaw. "They tossed him in here with me once. He was unconscious, all cut up and bruised, like me." Then the energy drains out of her, and her voice drops. But I know I can't believe anything I see or hear anymore. Picturing a bloody Sam in this very cell makes my stomach twist with anger. What happened in that log cave? I punch the cement wall, surprised to see it chip away. My strength is returning. No pain. My legacies are coming back. I look directly into Sara's eyes. "Sara, did you turn John in that night at the playground? You need to tell me." Without hesitation, she answers. "Absolutely not. I love him. Yes, I was confused about everything, and it was a lot to take in, but I would never betray any of you, especially John." I see her tear-filled eyes and know she's telling the truth. "Even though he's an alien, you still love him? You don't care?" Sara smiles. "I can't explain it. I can't explain how love feels to me, how it fills me up inside and keeps going. But I know that it's strong and beautiful, and I know it's how I feel about John. I love him, and I will always love him." Just saying the words aloud has her standing up straighter. She looks stronger and more determined. Her conviction moves me. I think about what happened between me and John, the kiss and everything. I don't love John like Sara does. She clearly believes John is the only one for her in the entire universe. I've been having these flashbacks, about our trip to Earth. He and I were always fighting, I say, my voice soft. "You were?" she asks, hungry for anything I can tell her. "Well, not really fighting so much as me pushing him around and taking his toys." We laugh, and she takes my hand. I'm sorry she's here because of us. I'm not going to let her down. She has so much faith in what we do, who we are. I can see it in her face. "I'm going to get you out of here, okay? I'm going to get you back to John," I say. "I hope so," she says softly. "And we'll find Sam and get him out of here too. Then we'll meet up with 7, 8, and 10, and 5. Find 5, and we'll figure everything out as a team." Her hand in mine gives me even more strength, more certainty than ever. "Hang on, number 10? I thought there were just 9 of you guys." "There are a lot of things you don't know, things we've learned recently," I say, touching the cut around my neck. It still hurts, but feels like it's already starting to heal. I wonder vaguely if I'm gaining a new legacy. Sara hugs me, but our moment is brief. The door whips open and a dozen Mog soldiers march into the room, cannons aimed at my chest. "Turn invisible," Sara whispers under her breath. "Go." I test my ribs and roll my neck. I feel better than I did 5 minutes ago. It has to be good enough. No, I'm done running. The red-haired woman I saw in the garden room limps into the cell. I look at her arm in the sling and the bandages over her cheek and can't help but wish I was the one who did all that to her. Anyone who would join up with the Mogs and torture kids in a secret bunker deserves everything she got, and more. Does she know who the Mogs really are, what they intend to do? The woman purses her pale lips and stares at me. "So, you're the one who will fight Hitchhikers, Ra?" I step forward. "Yes. Who are you?" "Who am I?" she asks, shocked that I would dare to ask such a thing. I guess she isn't used to people questioning her right to be anywhere, asking her to explain who she is. "Yeah, you, asshole." Does she have me confused with someone who has any respect for her position? "I asked you a question. Who are you, and why the hell would you be working with them? Do you know what the Mogadorians are going to do? What their plan is? They will destroy Earth, but only after they get what they want. And you are not helping. You are not only helping them, you are putting out the damn welcome mat. Did they tell you why they're here? Did you even ask?" I'm furious and desperate. This woman has got to listen to me. She needs to understand what is at stake here. Her face remains unchanged. "I know all I need to know. They are here because they're looking for you and your friends. In exchange for our help, they will help us with matters that are vital to our security. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I look forward to finding that number 4 again and his freak alien friend. I have the first shot at them, and I will take it with pleasure." Sara and I exchange a glance. Alien friend? Who is she talking about? Has John met up with another guard? "What things are the Mogadorians going to help you with?" I ask. "Well, for starters," she says, motioning to the Mog's cannon, "we get these. Thousands and thousands of alien weapons with capabilities impossible to create here on Earth, that none of our enemies have access to. With their technology, the Pentagon will be light years ahead of any other army on Earth. We will be invincible." I'm disgusted, and I make sure it shows. Hitchhikers Ra has also been supplying us with iridium, a chemical that's incredibly rare on Earth, and we've made scientific breakthroughs with it that will make this country billions of dollars. Also, the United States government is very interested in finding other life-sustaining planets, and the Mogadorians have already shared information about that. When she stops talking, she rocks back on her feet and crosses her arms over her chest defiantly. "Did they tell you what they do when they find other life-sustaining planets?" "I'll tell you what they do. They destroy them," I shout in her face. "You picked the wrong side this time. My friends and I are trying to stop them." "That's enough. Your presence is requested by Hitchhikers Ra. This way, now." The woman moves aside to let me pass. I know I could take her and every one of these soldiers, but that would just delay getting to what I really want, to defeat Hitchhikers Ra. "As tempting as it is to kill you all right now, I think I'll save you for number 4 and his freak alien friend," I sneer. "If Hitchhikers Ra wants to do this now, let's go." I push past her and walk out of the cell. "Six!" Sara calls after me. "Please, be careful!" I walk down the hall, my enemy flanking me. We walk down hallways, through several doors, and after a few minutes I'm standing inside a huge room. It's big enough for an army of tanks. It's also big enough for an epic fight. The door slams and I hear it lock behind me. It's so dark now that I can barely see 2 feet in front of me, never mind the other end of the room. I walk towards what I think is the center of the room, testing my telekinesis as I go by levitating off the ground. When I think I'm in the middle of the room, I close my eyes and turn around, feeling the air with my mind. I sense there are about 24 or so beings silently entering the room. I'm disappointed. I wanted this to be one-on-one. When I open my eyes, they've almost adjusted to the dark. I wish I had Marina's legacy to be able to see in the dark, but I can make out enough for now. There are Mog soldiers lined up against the back wall. They're wearing ragged black cloaks and black boots and whip their swords across their bodies. They're bigger than most of the Mogadorians I've fought before, but I know I can kill them just the same. A door opens behind me, and another dozen soldiers enter. "Hey, what is this, Hitchhikers Ra?" I yell to the ceiling, turning around to make sure the Mogs can all see me, and know they do not have some cowering human here. "I thought you wanted to fight me." A section of the wall explodes in the back of the room, and the Mogadorian leader appears. The 3 Loric pendants swing from his grotesque neck. I plan on taking all of them back, so Trekkus Ra opens his arms and yells, "You must first earn the right." I guess this is the command to charge, because all at once the soldiers let out a battle cry and rush at me. I start at my right and begin to pick them off one at a time. Alright, so that was the end of chapter 26. We will pick up in the next video on chapter 27. Alright, so I hope everybody's enjoying the series so far. I know I am. It's about to get crazy. So you're in for a ride. Hopefully you've buckled up. Alright, that's it for now. Reading by Ree. Until next time. Bye.